Yo, 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 you're watching GW Smoke Break TV. As you know, right here in San Jose, California on the West Coast. It's another special edition of Beyond the Goddess, you know what I'm saying, promoting a brand new publication that Jan and I are quarterbacking. What's up, everybody? It's going to be a dope hour. We got a special guest with us as well. Cheers, bingo. Instead of a coffee, I got some of this lemon water. Check that out. Jan is going to be with us shortly, and her daughter Wayra is going to be on as well. You know what I'm saying? They both contributed towards articles to Beyond the Goddess, the digital publication we're talking about, and they bring a unique perspective, both being from Humboldt County and having such a beautiful, unique experience, you know, growing up there. So just a second, I'm going to go ahead and pack up, get smoked out real quick, you know what I mean, as usual. Smoking on some Rebel Grown, some of this laser beam right here in this sandwich bag, the very last of it, dude. The crumbs. Grateful to have it. This weekend in Mendocino and Cloverdale. We got the seed swap going on. Check it out from 12 to 6 p.m. We're going to have all kinds of goodies and stuff just like this, you know. Boom. Some of that good. Cool. All right. So let's go ahead and get the party started. Go ahead and I might have to send out these invites real quick. But after this bong hit, if I still don't see any requests, dude, I'm going to reach out. So thank you for joining, guys. It's a beautiful day here in California. Nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be worried about. It's just all gravy, you know, having beautiful conversations, connecting with beautiful people, just like the Mycelium Network, man. It's dope. It's dope. I could have never have dreamt about all the things that are developing, you know. So cheers, bingo, bango. Let's get this rolling. All right, here we go. Yo, what's happening, Ayana?
Hey.
That curtain looks familiar.
No, it's just a minute.
Ayana's in Arcadia. She's back in Humboldt County. She left me with a bunch of food in the fridge, which I'm grubbing down on. So fucking delicious. And let's see if we can get the signal improved over here. 1 second. All right.
There we go.
We'll be having a little bit of trouble with the signal. Let's see here. What's up, Ayana? Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool. How's it going? How's your day been? How's that Humboldt life?
It's nice. Man, did I miss it?
I know it. I know it. Tell us about your day. Tell us how you've been.
Good, but I missed the cold and the fog and the beautiful sunny days, and Humboldt's just fucking awesome. That's all. I just love it up here. I feel at home.
You miss that fresh air too, huh?
Yep. I went to a poetry workshop this morning and got to hear a nice variety, some hip hop by one of my friends, some just such a wide variety of talents. It's just, I feel so blessed.
Absolutely. Well, it's cool to be on here with you, Ayana. Why should be on shortly? And let's kick it off. You know, we're both eager to, okay, it looks like she's unable to join. We're both excited to premiere Beyond the Goddess, you know, our digital publication that's focused on cultivating a regenerative community, definitely with a global focus. And with that being said, I want to ask you a question here. You know, we're playing with these cool terms like permaculture, and from permaculture comes the term permanent culture. And I'd like for you to just share, you know, what permanent culture means to you.
It's the kind of subject that I think I'm probably not the only one, but whenever I talk about, I don't really know that much about it, even though I've been to a whole bunch of like courses and stuff, it seems like it's an ever expanding thing, kind of like nature. It's I think when I hear people talking about permaculture, it makes me think of how it is possible to make this world better, even though there's capitalism and all these new modern comforts. It kind of totally eliminates the myth of needing to like let go of comfort, because honestly, there's nothing worse than a badly designed house that's addicted to gas to keep it hot. Passive solar heat, the way like just permaculture design,
Totally.
it totally goes beyond all of these myths that we've had kind of jam-packed into our heads. And that goes for just about everything.
And you know,
one
of those myths, Ayana, one of those myths actually is food. And it's something that you actually know a lot about, is debunking a lot of those myths when it comes to our diet. So let's talk about that. I mean, I've been enjoying this healthy alternative diet that I think is part of this agenda that we're working on. So, what does healthy eating mean to you?
Well, to start with, regenerative vegetables have more nutrients, so that's like a good base. But like eating from the garden, eating plant-based food or diets that are basically with happy animals included, it's a totally different energy. It's the way I've been eating, it certainly has regenerated me. I was very sick for a long time. I, looked into just about everything that exists to attempt healing myself. And now that I'm getting more and more simple, just back to the land, eating pretty much just like from the garden. I mean, I don't have a garden, but it's all vegetable based. This is the closest I've ever been to actually having health. Creating clean, taking the industrial waste out of my body through using herbs and foods and vegetables like cilantro, blueberries, celery, simple things. I feel so blessed, and I feel like I have a secret, like a little kid who's holding somebody behind their back that nobody notices. And like the adults or like the people who are like in the big agenda, the big pharma, the big oil, the big this and that, they don't know what I have behind my back. And they think it's something big and fancy, but it's just a fucking garden and herbs. That is like, it's like the most powerful feeling of triumph. You can't take that away. They can't take that away from us.
Absolutely. I think the seed swap is so significant this Saturday. I'm glad you can make it. And to your point, eating healthy has totally changed my life. My body is digging healthy food more and more. I lost 20 plus pounds. I feel younger. And I keep on saying, if we're going to be about craft cannabis, we also have to be about good quality craft food. They go hand in hand, And I'm realizing more and more, Ayana, hanging out with you, that there are a shitload of myths when it comes to our diet. And here in San Jose, I see so many of my fellow citizens, and I was in that boat as well. We're overweight, we got diabetes, we got all kinds of health issues, and we're trying to figure out a way to be better. And like you said, it's nothing fancy. It's literally the Garden of Eden.
Yeah. Like, people think that you have to stop eating like fruit and sugar and everything for diabetes, but literally if you just chill a little bit and incorporate a diet that has under 15% of fat, you can clean out your liver to the point where your pancreas will actually be able to function. And there are people who are they are no longer diabetic 1 or 2 at all because of that. Hey, Wayra.
Hi.
Hey, we got Wyatt in the building. Thank you for joining us, Wyatt. I know it's been a busy day. Ayana, we're going to interrupt you. We have our guest here with us. How was your day today, Wayra?
Of honor.
My guest was quite nice. I mean, my day, sorry, was quite nice. I can't stop saying that my teachers are all unique, especially my public speaking teacher. He has this character. He just speaks really loudly, and it's like something or someone that you'd see out of a cartoon. And I find it so funny and so entertaining. And you go on to rate my professor, and everyone hates him. There's like 2 people out of 5 that like him, that rated him. But then there's also the fact that most people only go on there to complain about who they don't like. So, I mean, I think he's pretty cool. He's a pretty...
Totally, and you're talking about Humboldt County teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, CR.
Actually, he came from Europe. I guess he was born in, like, England or something, and now he's living here because he said it's much better than living in New York or in LA.
Got it. Well, Wayra, we're going to do a pop quiz. You know, you jumped into the conversation, so we want you to catch up, get brought up to speed. The question is, what does healthy eating mean to you?
Okay. I suppose, well, for me, it includes not eating meat. I'm still trying to work up to eating the way that my mom does fully, but I suppose that would mean eating more vegetables, being able to cook more, like, for example, rice, adding vegetables to that. I love garbanzos. What's chucrut in English?
Sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut. Eating more sauerkraut also. I guess that's what it would be like for me. My mom can talk for hours longer than I can about that subject, but yeah.
Okay, totally.
Receiver.
Right. Now, I mean, you grew up eating garlics and lemons, or you grew up pretty like eating natural, I would say.
Oh yeah. Definitely. It was very rare that we would eat at restaurants and we would buy food and we would buy stuff, but it was very rare that we would like get the pre-made stuff. Like my mom was always cooking. My dad cooked also. I mean, he cooked less, but he would also cook quite a bit. And most of the time we were all in the kitchen helping my mom do whatever it was that she wanted to do, like cutting the vegetables and stuff like that, doing all the prep work for her.
That's awesome. So my question now is, Ayana and Wayra, should it be the Shopback Mafia or the Avocado Mafia?
I already apologized about
I like
that.
that name, dude. Avocado Mafia. We used to buy avocados by the 50-pound box, just like you can in the feria. The feria is like an outdoor market where you can buy bulk stuff right off the trucks in Chile. I think Avocado Mafia is a good name, but Shopback's pretty cool too.
Hey, Wayra, do you know Marjo? You know DJ Marjo,
Yeah.
right?
Totally. I haven't seen her.
I'm going to invite her, see if she wants to join us.
Yeah, they have a beautiful family farm.
Okay, here's another question that your mom brought up earlier, Wayra, is what does permanent culture mean to you? If you're thinking about permaculture, might be tough. Let's talk about regenerative culture. Does the term regenerative culture mean anything to you, Wayra? What's up, Marjo?
What up, you guys?
We're going to have some fun.
I just pressed the button. You invited me. I was like, yes.
Spontaneous.
Like,
yeah, you're next. You're next. But Wayra's going to answer the question if the term regenerative culture means anything to her.
Well, what I immediately think of is regenerative agriculture and regenerative farming. I suppose other than that, it would probably mean more of a circular movement instead of just like a straight line. And like everything we do, I guess I'm just making it up on the spot. Like, for example,
that's good.
I don't know, in society with like plastic or energy or just the way that we go about our daily lives. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Totally does. The circular part totally does.
Way.
That's the base of like regenerative farming is circular, making circles.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Wayra. Thank you. Marjo, what's happening? Let's welcome Marjo.
Yeah.
She's a badass entrepreneur, hailing from Brazil in Humboldt County, holding it down. Marjo, the term regenerative culture, what does that mean to you?
Regenerative culture. I think it's really related, like what I was saying, to sustainability, right? Like how we can move forward. I see more than a circle, a spiral, right? That it goes like in a moving forward flow. The culture part, regenerative culture is what I feel like when we, supporting each other and creating more sustainability with our companies and industry and businesses, providing the, being like the base for our cannabis culture. I don't know, man. Or like
No, it's
good at
all
defining.
good. It's all good. I wanted to make you think real quick. You know what I'm saying? And this is a term that you know who wanted to talk about. So Ayana, the masterful Ayana, the visionary herself, what does regenerative culture mean to you?
Well, I'm like just barely scratching the surface. There are people who are like so much better at this than I am. I'm just an I was thinking in Spanish, eternally in love with the concept of permaculture, permanent culture. It means to me that there is hope, that the black and white idea of living in, I don't know, like a super primitive style in order to have a better lifestyle or like save the earth or whatever is totally false. That's what it means to me, because we can reimagine every single profession that exists, from architecture to writing to music. There's people who could give you such a better explanation than this. I'm just like barely learning, honestly, even if I go to like 10 conferences. And making it circular, bringing in the regenerative qualities of permanent culture, making little tweaks so that we can make this permanent. It's like an invitation to have your cake and eat it too.
Absolutely. I love what you said. It makes sense 100%. And again, I want to take an opportunity to show Marjo some love, I wanted to invite you, Ayana and then Wayra, to just share some, some positivity about Marjo. She's definitely showed the both of us a good time.
Oh yeah. Marjo is, I don't think I met her when she just first got here, but maybe just a little bit afterwards. This super strong, lively, kind of like low profile DJ with badass tunes. I like literally couldn't stop. Anytime we kind of followed her around for a couple years there with Yvonne, and I just can't forget how like so many times she'd be dancing and I would be like shaking my arm, feeling how like my shoulder would fall asleep, just imagining holding that baby for that long, dude, like with those cute little earphones on. I'm talking about all night long, man. Talk about like resilience.
Yeah.
And now look at it. You can tell what she's doing in the cannabis industry, like how many different things you have, and you're still pumping out the creativity. It's very, and keeping the family vibes high and everything. That's a lot. It takes a lot of oomph. So you're an example.
Well,
Good.
I was little when I met Marjo, and then I don't know what happened, but I haven't seen you in years. So I can't tell you specifically, but I do remember having a lot of fun at anywhere that I was there. She was there. I would always hear the music playing. I'd usually be running around playing with whoever kids were there. But I remember your beautiful, warm smile, so I will mention that.
Thank you, honey. I'm so proud of you, Wayra. I've been like seeing like your posts and your stuff with me, and I'm like,
and I need
hey, Wayra, tell her about
mention,
your music. Tell her about your musica.
I need to mention Andy. He's like more behind the scenes, but he's a total badass too. He's like the silent like pillar of strength. Always taking care of the kids. They're an amazing. He's not like as much out in the limelight, but an amazing. Like, you know, you can't do that without somebody like that. So.
Oh, it's your husband, right,
Yeah.
Marjo? Andy's your husband?
Great, an amazing guitar player too.
Yeah, really good guitar player. He's getting a band together now. I'm gonna do like a every month blues fastest in Eureka. Yeah, he's definitely like the main support. So we can make.
They used to be in Cold Blue Water. Sure. Another person I would follow around when they play.
Okay.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead with Wayra.
No, it's all good. Wayra actually made some beats, you know. Wayra, tell Marjo about your beats.
Yes. So this.
I saw you singing on the beach one day on
on
so
Instagram. There's two different things. One, I like to play the guitar and write songs. I don't really have much of that on Instagram yet. And two, like 3 years ago, I put together, I guess, electronic songs with pre-recorded songs on GarageBand, just trying to figure out how that works. So I have that.
Gotta update. You gotta update.
Nice.
Those, okay. The electronic ones, those are anywhere that you can listen to music, like YouTube, or Apple Music, or Spotify. Those are. My music yet is not. Coming soon, but not yet. You can find that under my artist name, Crystalina Star, with no H and 2 R's, or Electric Start, which is the mini album thing.
Good.
Okay. Well, Marjo, you're on, so I got to make you think again, okay? The next question is, Marjo, how can we reduce the need for a capitalist lifestyle? This is a honest fault. This is a honest question. Don't shoot the messenger, Marjo, please.
Ayana. The needs for capitalists, how to reduce? Think like more, farming, more planting touch, more fucking spiritual retreats and ceremonies and practices. That would go right there. I think the more spiritual you are, the less things you need. You know what I'm saying?
I like that answer very much. And to build on that, how do you think women can contribute? How do you think women contribute to this effort specifically?
I think women is just when they are in touch with their power, they're very, very, big powerhouses and are the base for any transformation, any cultural change, or any family transition, or anything like that. That's how I feel when I need to change for something in my family, is just really going back to my core, spiritual practice, and really like being in touch with my spirit and my beliefs, that's how I feel. But that might, doesn't apply for everybody. You probably know we're big hippies out here, right?
Good answer, because the spirit isn't capitalist. The spirit, lives off a different kind of commerce or food, food for the soul. And to me, that doesn't involve money. That's what I've learned personally. So thank you for that, Marjo.
Yeah.
And Wayra, you're next. Again, the question is, how can we reduce the need for a capitalist lifestyle?
I suppose this is a very generic answer, but working together more. That's like the general thing I have to comment about, working together more. You're not going to agree with everyone. Not agreeing with someone, I don't believe that makes you a bad person. What I believe means that you make bad choices as opposed to being a bad person is when you don't respect someone despite the fact that neither of you agree. And you know, despite it not being covered on the news, I believe that it is advancing. We only see about the bad stuff. I believe that there are a lot of good things happening in this world. We only go forward.
You bring up a good point, because I think, no, excuse me, Wayra. I think that pure capitalism, I think it lacks respect. I think that the ends justify the means, just about money, 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 no matter what the cost. And oftentimes people suffer because of that. So I hear what you're saying. Thank you for your answer. And Ayana, you know, what do you think in terms of what we can do to reduce capitalist lifestyle?
Well, Brooklyn, for example, I believe it was, I'm not sure if I should say who, because I might be forgetting exactly who, but I was watching a regenerative conference this season, and they were speaking about BK farmyards in Brooklyn. That they took all of they started with unused backyards that had sun, and they created, I don't know how many pounds, but hundreds and hundreds of pounds of food in circular, you know, like for example, for the chicken eggs, they would like trade chicken eggs with the guys who did give them their grains for the chickens, get to taste the beer, and like do a circle with the coffee so the chickens could eat that, and then they would use the poop for the garden. And their motto is not word for word, but it's you provide the land, we grow the food, or something like that. And we're talking about Brooklyn. I mean, come on, like Brooklyn, like who's going to try to grow food in Brooklyn? But it happens. There's like, it's actually easier, it's apparently easier to do in the city than it is out in the country because there's more people. They're all stacked up on top of each other. The cost of living is higher, and they need vegetables more. Like people cooperate with each other. They say, okay, I have 2 hours on Thursday. I have this amount this time. And they're doing an amazing job. So I would say it's just about as big as we can imagine it. Reducing capitalism, I think, is kind of the same thing as running away from your shadow. It's just an idea. Capitalism is just this idea that we've become comfortable with. And from what I was hearing, regenerative economy doesn't have to do necessarily, we don't have to eliminate capitalism. These guys are already doing it right now in this model. We don't need permission from anybody. There's people who are doing it more advanced than we are. All we have to do is start doing it too, pretty much. It's super heartening.
Thank you for that, Ayana. You know what I think? I think that to make things yourself is an act of reducing the capitalist lifestyle versus going out and buying it. And I think of you, and you make knitted hats, and you make these awesome jams, and you're really talented at making food. You know, Marjo makes awesome music, as an example, and I'm sure she makes other cool things. You know, I'm not sure if she's like making weed or not. You know, and then Wayra, she makes paper. She also makes music and poetry. She writes stories. So I think it's awesome. So what I would contribute to the conversation is, you know, by making our own things, by being more independent in that way, we can reduce the need for a capitalist lifestyle. Ayana, do you want to add?
Before you guys continue, I would like to say thank you very much for inviting me onto this live. I do have to go. I have class in a few minutes. So thank you.
No,
goodbye.
Thank you, Wayra. Thank you for making time. Really appreciate it.
Nice to see you, Marjo.
Peace out, Metralleta. Cool. Ayana, I was going to ask you what you think women in particular can contribute towards, reducing a capitalist lifestyle. Marjo talked about, feeding the soul, introspection in the soul. And I think women are more emotionally connected as an example, but I don't want to steer your answer either.
I think to start with accepting ourselves as women and not trying, like in the 80s, there was a lot of women trying to like be men, like in their men's suits and do the men's job the man's way. And now it's a little bit more incorporated that we have an important role nurturing the future generations is something very, very important. And whether we do it with our own families or just by being loving, strong examples, by taking care of ourselves, by connecting with the land. I mean, just by listening to the forest, feeding our inner fire, contributing. I think it's a balance. I don't want to say it's just a woman's mindset because there's a lot of really gentle men too, but it's kind of like more balance between like the two energies when we are thinking. I think it's like more common to think like kind of including everybody. I don't want to leave the men out though because it's kind of unfair, but it's a good balance. It's more about balancing the masculine and the feminine energy within us.
Right. And I guess, what I'm trying to promote, what I see in the both of you is, really strong women, independent women, go-getters. And so I like the idea of, women, we can we can follow the lead of a woman, you know what I'm saying? And in many businesses, that's the way it is in the cannabis industry and so forth. But for that to be more of a norm, to listen to what women have to say, to learn from a woman's experience, So, Marjo, I wanted to ask
bottom
you.
Lines.
I'm sorry, Anna?
Multiple bottom lines. A broader perspective on keeping life livable from the heart.
From the heart. Exactly. And, with Beyond the Goddess, we're touching on many different topics. And personally, I wanted to ask the both of you, Marjo, I feel that our cannabis culture is going to be led by women more and more. Specifically, we're talking about a feminine energy, the bud and so forth. And so, what do you have to say to that in terms of women taking on more leadership in the cannabis industry and so forth?
I can't wait for that to really be the future of our industry. Like I love working with ladies. Like 80% of my team are good, amazing ladies, and I work a lot direct with ladies farmers. I just think there's a special connectivity that we share, and it's just different. Although I'm not, I do have awesome clients and buyers and farmers. There are dudes, and they do this for a long time, and I love them as much as I do. It's just different relating to ladies, and I think we're just crushing, all the ladies. They just really like I said before, I think when we are in touch and aligned with our divine power, nobody can stop us, and that's how I feel about it. And of course, weed, the flower, the farming, being land, being out in the woods, it really brings that alignment with that harmony between your body, your mind, and your soul, and you just embrace that power and just fucking go, you know. So that's how I feel like, and I feel you're right. Like all the bigger companies, and they always, you see who's running, who's really operating. Like most of them are, you know, they're probably owned by dudes, but run by really badass ladies, you know.
No, well said, Marjo. And you know, I think of Ayana, and I think of somebody who's in her power. I think of somebody who's an independent thinker, and I'm excited to see this develop, you know, and for things to change. So Ayana, when we say that, you know, women are going to take more of a, when I say that, in my opinion, women are going to lead our culture in so many ways, like the evolution of it, you know, take on more of a leadership role. What do you have to say to that?
I think it sounds good. As long as we're not trying to do competition, I'm ready for a more balanced society. Like people who have an open heart. Like, what if I were to become a billionaire? It'd be so fucking lonely. If my whole community weren't doing well, it wouldn't even be worth it. Like, I've asked myself that question. So, like, for me, it's about cooperation to create a common good. It's kind of like making my little family into, like, a big family. Like, it's the same mothering instinct, I think. I think that women have a lot to offer. I think that we have been kind of separated by a lot of catty, emotional bullshit that isn't necessary. And there's a lot of us who are overcoming and have overcome that and who don't pay attention anymore to that stuff, which was never part of the sacred healing circle. All that stuff was set aside to heal each other, to do the ceremonies and to bring the babies in and to say goodbye to those who were going to the next plane. So there's a lot that
Absolutely.
we have. I think there's a lot that we have to learn from the natives, and combining that with our own intuition and love, I think redesigning humanity straight up without asking permission.
Right. And Marjo, if you're wondering, you know, why I'm here, why I'm doing this, you know, when I hang out with Ayana, in many ways, she reminds me of the power of a woman. You know what I'm saying? It's thrilling and it's universal. I see that in you as well, you know, just independent, you know, strong women. And to me, it's exciting to explore that, to let that breathe, to let that, you know, give it space. It's like an animal that's like in a cage and you never get to like let it go out and do its thing, you know. And I think women have been suppressed in many ways, you know, historically especially. And one thing I love about our industry is that it seems to be free of so many norms, being that, you know, we're inclusive and liberal and chilled and loving and so forth. And I'm sure I know you've seen a change in me because of Ayana. And again, Beyond the Goddess was her idea. And so when she said, let's go for it, I'm like, okay, shit, let's go for it. We'll figure it out. You know, and again, I'm just saying, like, as a man speaking, you know, men fight over women. Wars have been fought over women. And so, again, to Marjo's point, you know, the power of a woman, I think, is exciting to explore, you know, and see what it do, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? I love it. I love getting together with ladies and being creative and just taking it to the next level in many ways. You know, it's really, it just flows so good.
Well, let me ask you this,
The power
Marjo.
of women, like,
Yes.
even the church has been stolen. The sacredness of woman, Mary Magdalene, was actually the rightful heiress of Jesus Christ. And none of that actually came to exist on earth because there was all these men with swords fighting over things that stopped it from happening. I mean, we're lucky we even found out about it. So, like, I've asked myself quite a few times, what would this creature that the church has become even look like if that had actually been what happened? Who knows how many different things? I'm sure there would have been very different if it would have been honored like it was originally intended.
Yes, because the Roman Catholic Church is like devoid of women in all the leadership. It's all men. I don't think it's a coincidence, you know?
I kind of doubt
So
they
again,
were going around the world killing people. I seriously doubt that there would have been crusades at all. Like, I don't know. I kind of doubt it.
There was Joan of Arc. As I understand, she was a warrior. She was a warrior woman, you know, Joan of Arc. What I want to say before I forget is, again, I think it's cool that as a man I can speak and kind of like share my perspective. So, Marjo, the next question is this, is like, I don't know how much time we have. You know, what do you think men can learn from women? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think us dudes can learn from women? Some advice maybe. I mean, I don't know, you know?
Well, my list is big.
Sorry?
My list is big.
Let's start with the top 3.
I think, oh Lord.
I'm serious. This is a good learning moment.
I think, I think like, you know, what you're saying and the way you expressing yourself make me really think about, you know, I think being sensitive is something that I think not only man but humanity can learn a little more, right? Put yourself in more of vulnerable space. Learn how to be more sensitive to things, to women's feeling, to what they do, to their power, right? Like the way you were expressing yourself made me feel like, oh wow, Danny's a really like sensitive guy, you know, like he can put himself in that vulnerability of like, wow, I can see through you, right? I can see through Ayana where she's going. I can see that. And I think just being, you know, more sensitive to everything, right? Like to more honest with their feelings, I think is a good thing. I think like guys are, especially in America, don't want to be like too locked in on a perspective, but it's something that I've learned through all these years living in America. Guys are really conditioned to hold their emotions and their feelings out here and be the tough dudes and be the, you know, and it's really rare to find sensitive, open guys that can like really go deep. So I think like that would be my number one, you know, like thing. I gonna have to jump off because my phone is blowing up with some clients,
for sure.
But I do.
Thank you, Marjo.
I do appreciate the opportunity, and sounds like I'm gonna be in San Jose next week or something. I reach out if I'm there and come visit. And Ayana, I would love to see you, girl. Hit me up if you're.
Are you going on
I love
Saturday
you, and thank you guys.
Swap, I'll be there.
No, Saturday in
Cloverdale.
And I'll take you out to eat in San Jose. I'll invite you out to eat, you know, if we can line that up. No problem.
Oh, I'm not going to be there. That's okay, though.
I will. All right, guys.
Oh, when you're in
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Cool. I know you got to go, Marjo.
Okay. Yeah. I'm here right now, but like tomorrow or Saturday.
Okay, maybe.
Gracias, Marjo. Appreciate you so much.
Love you.
Guys, bye-bye.
Love you, Marjo. All right, Ayana, it's me and you. Okay, the question was, what do you think, generally speaking, men can learn from women?
I would say emotional vulnerability, um, interdependence is very, very important in being strong because it makes us develop capacities we never even knew existed, much less that we actually had ourselves. So some of the most beautiful men I know have a very good balance between their masculine and feminine energies. They're very efficient, very beautiful communicators, hard workers, very talented at growing vegetables and creating and building, artists, and caring for others is another very important thing. Putting community before, like putting something else besides your pocketbook as the bottom line. Avoiding being emotionally absent. It's harder for women to become emotionally absent because we just have, I guess it's one of our gifts. And there's a lot of things that some men might think are very uncomfortable about being a woman, but like we give up our immune system for the next generation. Every month while we're bleeding, the entire time that we have pregnancy, and the entire time that we're nursing. I mean, what more sacrifice is that? It's like Christ-like. It's just the way we're built. But if we had the choice, there's a lot of women who would do that by choice also. And it definitely, I mean, look at the higher chronic illness rate in women. It definitely has a cost. So we literally give our lives, our bones, our blood for the well-being of the next generation. And that lesson can be done without actually sacrificing ourselves if we start working as a community to have healthy vegetables, healthy gardens, to know the secrets in the herbs that keep us clean from the industrial waste and that keep us healthy, and that we don't have to do it ourselves. I don't have to chop wood, carry water, build my house, publicize it on Instagram, hold the umbrella, walk, and balance on my tiptoes at the same time. I mean, it's just, that's not the way humans were brought from the dawn of humanity until now. That's not how it worked. We would all work together. And these commodities that we have are very helpful. But I think it would be better if we started using them to create more community, because it makes it a lot easier. But it's just a matter of getting out of our comfort zone. And remember, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. So when we get a little bit nervous, I say that why? Because when you get a little nervous about doing something differently, just remember that it's probably a good sign. Because any sign of resistance means that you're actually going a different direction. And that means that we are going to create something new. And that this amazing new, there's a fantasy world out there that we don't even know exists, believe me. It's not just in my imagination. It's as
No,
big
100%.
as we could possibly imagine. The universe is infinite. And maybe that is why
100%.
we're created in God's image, because literally, like, whether you look at it from this, like, regenerative or God or like quantum physics, it's all kind of saying the same thing. We can create. Our minds are like magic wands.
No,
And our bodies.
it's well said, Anana. It's really well said, I guess as men, from what I understood, you know, we want to be sensitive and we want to be
Yeah.
emotionally present, not emotionally, what was the word you used?
Emotionally unavailable.
Yes,
Like,
that's what it
don't
is.
duck behind the wall right when you note it, or right when you hit something that you're not sure of how to deal with, because we're not supposed to be perfect. Perfectionism is a sign of insecurity. That's all.
Totally, totally. Well, I think that's some awesome feedback, and I'm excited to roll out Beyond the Goddess. I'm thankful that Marjo was able to join us. Wida was able to join us between classes. That was awesome as well. And so, Ayana, you know, I want to say, you know, you are the inspiration behind Beyond the Goddess, and you're the one that put this in play. And I joke about you being the leader of the Shopback Mafia, being the fearless leader, and I think that a lot of your ideas are fearless and free of any kind of, you know, constraint or like somebody else's pressure of conformity. They're free of conformity in many ways, you know. Of course, it's your ideas are conforming with whatever you want. And when we're thinking about Beyond the Goddess and your intention and vision, let's just talk about that for a second, you know. Now that we're about to release the first issue, how do you feel? How do you want this to progress?
I honestly feel a little scared because it makes me wish that I was some big badass, like 30-year experienced permaculture specialist and all that, but that's just probably my ego. And honestly, I don't really need to be. All I need to be is an eternal in love enthusiast, because there are so many people to talk with and to interview who are like light years ahead of us, who throughout the entire Cold War and the entire Prohibition era and the entire Green Rush were working on these subjects without earning that much money, and it's well advanced. So I'm excited about entering a whole regenerative new world myself and learning what it means to translate normal professions into permaculture. I was really excited to hear about the refugees. There are literally like refugee camps of youth that are, it's called perma youth. They're literally like teaching each other how to grow food and having these massive gatherings in, oh God, I forgot the actual name of, there's like 2 or 3 countries in Africa. And, you know, all over the world, not just like all over the world. It's just so beautiful. There's so many beautiful things that we can do. There's no reason to be afraid of capitalism, because it's just, they're just giving us an excuse to go beyond the boundaries of comfort. So they're actually helping us. I'm really excited to do this magazine. I look forward to learning. I look forward to putting my own creative touch in there. I invite poets and artists who want to contribute, farmers, cannabis farmers, normal farmers, community organizers, and it doesn't just need to be from the Emerald Triangle, but it would be nice. I'd like to get a lot of people from the Emerald Triangle, people who were involved in the Mateel. I'd like to tell a lot of stories. I'd like to have a section on stories, just the stories.
Yeah,
Just
totally.
like beautiful, heartening, inspiring stories of people who were imported, who like kind of were Humboldtified, like I say, people who came here, like the first wave of imported people, or who kind of were Humboldtified, which are basically the OG back to the landers.
Yeah. Ayana, do
You
me
know,
a
stories of
favor and
people
check
who
the time for
grew
me?
up here. It's 4:55.
Okay, cool. We just got a
5
few
minutes.
more minutes. Absolutely. There's a lot of opportunity to preserve our culture, to preserve these stories, to learn where we come from so we can know where we're going. And with Beyond the Goddess, again, you know, cultivating a regenerative new world on a global scale, I'm just thrilled. You know, our next issue is going to be in 3 months. We had a little bit of a delay with our first one. And so it's just, I want to say it's exciting to do this with you, you know, and I want to say thank you for wanting to go for it.
I'd like to incorporate links for like videos and music and cool stuff, basically, in the future.
Oh, in the magazine itself, right?
Yeah. I'd like it to be a place where it's not like every time I would look at it, I mean, I love High Times and Skunk and stuff, but like it gets kind of boring to just hear about THC and competitions and this and that. It's like, that's not my culture. I grew up in the weed culture in southern Humboldt, and I never felt represented by any of those magazines, not even a little bit. Like maybe like 1 or 2 years, like one of my flowers or something, but like that's not me. That's not my culture. That's not what inspired us.
Well, check it
That's not the reason
out.
why a lot of the growers are still persisting either.
Ayana, I would say, like, before this ends, let's talk about Humboldt honey. I think that's part of the culture, and you're definitely somebody to talk about it.
Humboldt honey.
What's a
Yeah.
Humboldt honey, Ayana? What is it? What is it? What is it?
I don't know, dude. Somebody invented that poster. I remember when I was a teenager, I looked at that, I would see that, and I'd be like, okay, first of all, I don't dress like that. If you walk into the woods like that, you get all caught up on the branches and stuff. A Humboldt honey, I guess, like a real Humboldt honey is like maybe like got some camo pants on. A backpack with food, definitely, because you can't survive in the bush without food. Water, sometimes bathing suit optional. I always had a hacky sack and a guitar. Not if I was going into the woods, but a journal. And a camo throw to lay on.
That's funny. Now it's getting personal. Ayana,
Yeah,
so are you
totally.
saying that poster brought the term, like, that was the beginning of the term Humboldt honey, or did the term exist before then?
I don't know. I think that's what did it. No, I don't know, honestly. I'm not a good person to cite for things like that.
Got
I
it.
bet you there's somebody with a better memory who would remember way better than me.
Got it.
I just remember looking at her and saying, oh, my God, she's such a stereotype. That
Well,
was
I
like
would
the way the
say
city girls
Humboldt
wanted
honey.
to look to copy us.
Right. I would say, like, she probably eats natural, right?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
freaking,
Organic,
you know?
like a real Humboldt honey would like eat from either from the crop or from the garden, usually the garden. I would munch on like in the forest and eat like forest herbs and stuff too.
That's wild. That's so wild.
And like the
That's
men,
so cool.
like they would literally hunt and like, get their deer and, store their deer over the winter and stuff. A lot of men would. Speaking of, I don't know about honey, but that you wouldn't really call them honeys, but.
What do you mean, the men?
Yeah, the men around here, they would like hunt and like have their own deer and have venison and stuff.
Yeah, I think we're talking about two different things here.
Yeah, totally.
Okay,
I just don't like
cool,
being
Yana.
stereotyped, that's all.
100%. Before this closes out, what's your reflection on our second live for Beyond the Goddess? We had 2 guests today. I want to get some final thoughts, please.
I'm pleased. It was awesome to catch Marjo on here. Wayra's awesome too. She's like a 3rd generation Humboldt girl, grown up with homeschool, watching her parents grow weed and, talking with trimmers and stuff. It's I'm really pleased with our second live, and I think it's going to be really exciting to rev up the vibrations, to raise the vibration in these new creations that we can do. We got to keep the vibration alive, the hope and prayer and solid steps towards
25 seconds.
reality. Hope, prayer, and solid steps towards a new reality.
Hell yeah. Cool, Yana. Well, thank you so much. We got 10 seconds left. I'm going to close it out. This is GW Smoke Break
Thanks,
TV,
everyone.
Beyond the Goddess Live.